You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, me Crusaders? This is your boy Al Mega, and welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. And we're here with another fire episode. You know what it is? We're bringing some major creative heat to the show today. That's right. We have a guest who's done it all: film, music, storytelling, and now she's blessing the comic book world with an epic YA graphic novel and comic book series. Ooh, that's right. Now, her new book, Karmic, is a mind-bending, action-packed ride that's about to take the YA world by storm. We're talking deep themes, insane artwork, and a coloring book that lets you add your own creative twist. So buckle up, smash that like button, and let's get into it with the one, the only Terri-Lyne Gedanitz. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you for coming through. I appreciate the artwork on that cover look dope. I see you're doing a lot of cool stuff out there in the world. So, you know, we always love our great old origin stories. So tell the good folks out there, our fellow Crusaders, where you were originally from and what was the first thing in fandom overall that you ever fell in love with?
So I'm originally from Thunder Bay, Ontario, a small town about 8 hours away from Toronto. And I moved to Vancouver when I was about 22 years old with my son. So it's been about 20 years now that I've been here in Vancouver. And when it comes to graphic novels, I started this one about 7 years ago, and I've been working on it ever since. And graphic novels wasn't really something I was into before, but it was just a really good medium to incorporate the Karmic character.
Gotcha. So let me ask you, from the big screen to the printed page, what's the craziest moment in your journey for film and music to comics? You know, did any Hollywood level drama sneak in that storytelling of yours?
Yeah, there are. I don't know if I really want to say it, to be honest. I'll be brief. I think my most bizarre one was when I was in my 20s, first getting into film as a talent agent. Actually, I ended up partying with a celebrity in a strip club many years ago. So
okay,
that's bizarre, right? It was interesting.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, listen, man. When you're in the game, you know, you would expect, you know, some stuff to go on. You know what I mean? But, you know, let's get into this book. Your new YA graphic novel, Karmic, sounds dope. Now, if your main character could step into one of your past films or any stories you've done, what kind of chaos would they cause?
What kind of chaos would Karmic cause?
Yeah.
She's more of a character that facilitates karma through other people's intentions. So it's not so much that she creates the chaos. It's more of the people in the stories. They already have, they're bringing the chaos, and she's just facilitating it and making sure that they get the right justice for it. So,
what an interesting take on a character. Why use karma, and especially in the form that you're using it?
Well, because everybody thinks of karma as a mystical force, mystical justice. And I look at karma as people. People are karma. They facilitate other people's karma. So for instance, if you have a predator that has a victim and the victim doesn't do anything, then the predator will have another victim, another victim, another victim, until one of those victims stands up and brings justice. It's not, to me, karma is not this mystical force that comes in and you know, puts a boulder in front of you so that you can go and trip on it and say, you know, that's your
final destination, guy.
Yeah. So I liken the idea of karma being a mystical force to Santa Claus. So if you believe in the mystical force, it's like supposed to be some kind of godly force. So is it God? Is it Santa Claus? What is it? Right. So for me, like I said, it's like a cause and effect. It's people are karma for me. So it just came natural that I turned the character Karmic into a shape-shifting being. Right.
Love it. So let's do this then. Let's please describe Karmic in a way that would make a grumpy old comic book store owner want to read it. Bonus points if you do it with a dramatic trailer voice.
Well, I'm not an actress, so I don't think you'll get that from me. In just more simpler terms, karmic is karma incarnated as a shapeshifter. So I don't know how karma's incarnated as a shapeshifter.
And I also understand you're doing some stuff with it too, like a coloring book and other things like that. I mean, what's going on with this whole universe you're building here?
So the coloring book came as an idea in the process of drawing out the book when I hired the illustrators, and it was more of a marketing thing where it was cheaper to get the coloring book drawn out and then put that to the market as opposed to having the graphic novel. So what I did was I just let me just double it down and create the graphic novel, which would be a lot cheaper, and then the coloring book, and then the graphic novel to follow.
All right, so not being a person that comes from comics, I guess, or publishing, right? I mean, how did you step into the world, and how did you even know how to build a team, if you will? You're talking about just now, having artists and whatnot. So how did you go about the steps of building the book?
So initially, I wrote it as a TV pilot, because my whole idea, because I work in film as a casting director, is to bring it to life on film. So I initially wrote it as a TV pilot, and then I took that TV pilot and then I broke it down into a storyboard, and then I thought, okay, well, I write scripts, so it's a visual medium. To me, it was basically the same thing, except for I just didn't know how to place anything on the page. And this is where coming into hiring illustrators really helped quite a bit. First illustrator wasn't so great. That didn't last long. And then the second illustrator, it was actually 3 illustrators involved in the book in total.
Wow.
That's the one where you see all the final outcome, right? The first illustrator, I don't include any of her stuff in the graphic novel itself.
I mean, this beautiful cover right there. Holy shit.
Yeah, and so that was actually a company I hired, Miblart, I believe that's how they pronounce it. I hired them to do the graphic novel. So the original character itself, when I thought of the idea, one of my friends in film actually introduced me to Konstantin Sakaras. And what Konstantin Sakaras is a character designer. He's designed characters like for Avatar and for the Hulk and that sort of thing. He designs those different characters. So he actually designed Karmic for me. So there was about 3 different renders that he did for me. One was a younger version of 17, which is the one that I use in the first book. And then the other 2 were more older versions of her, which I use in the next books.
In the corresponding books.
Yeah. And she had to go through a lot of different changes. Like, for some reason, men, when they get a hold of a character, they kind of tend to over-sexualize the character. And that's not really what I want. I wanted her to be sexy and I wanted her to be classy, but I didn't want her to be
overtly sexual. Yeah, like they tend to do in comics sometimes, what they call cheesecake.
Basically, sex sells is kind of what they put it. And my market is not. I kind of want to develop the character for a woman, right? Because there's not a lot of characters out there that are these power characters. Either they're waiting for Prince Charming or something of the sort, right? So I wanted to develop a character for a woman to give them a little bit more empowerment. And again, if you're going to develop it for a woman, she can't be over sexualized. If you're developing it for men, you can do whatever you want, type thing, right? But she's a moral character, so I really needed to. Yeah, so she's had breast implants and stuff, reductions.
But I see it in the costume and in the design. It is nice. It has this femininity to it, but it's also, not overtly, like you said, sexual. When she looks really, really cool to me. I love the hair too. Not often do we see a brunette up there in the game. Come on now. It's nice to see that. Or dirty blonde, right? What is that? What's that hair color? Dirty blonde or brunette? What?
Yeah, she's actually supposed to have different colors in her hair, right? I actually took, like, when I developed the character, and what I had in my mind is I took body parts from every race and ethnicity, like eyes and mouth and that sort of thing, and even different outfits and that, and I sent it to Constantine. I said, this is, kind of, the different parts that I want, and that's who he came up with. A lot of people think she's me, but Constantine never saw me and never knew that. So she's not me. She just happened to be what it is that he drew.
But what's her story though throughout? I mean, what are we going to learn about her and her journey, and how does she even use her powers? Is she even aware of them? Like, can you tease us as to, who she is?
So in the first book, it's more of her origin story, like how she came to be, like where the gods of old, as I describe, put all their powers and everything together to create the seed, and she goes and the gods go to Earth and then plant the seed in a human, and she grows up as a regular normal human, child from birth to age 17. And then at age 17 she starts transforming. She doesn't know who she is. She's just living the life of a normal child. And when she starts transforming, because she's also an orphan, and I'm a foster child, or I was a foster child, so it relates to me in that regard. So when developing her, she was she becomes morphed, I guess, and then everybody bullies her, and then she ends up running away from that into the forest, to get away from all of that stuff, and I guess ingesting in the forest with the animals. And then the gods come down and say, okay, well, it's time for you to know who you are. And then she learns about her shape-shifting abilities, and then they train her how to be each individual animal. Because when a bird is born, they don't know how to fly automatically. They have to learn how to fly, and Karmic does that as well.
Oh, crazy. And shape-shifting as in how? Into other human forms, or anything?
So in the first book, it's just animals, right? Because she's just learning how to, she's just learning how to.
You're bringing me back to Manimal. I'm aging myself, folks. But I don't know if you remember that TV show Manimal, and it was like a guy he could turn into like a panther and stuff.
No, I've never seen that one.
It's a very old school 80s show. Yeah, it's wild. Look at, you'll find it on YouTube. It'll bug you up. Manimal. And when I bring that up to folks, they look at me, because another friend of mine does remember it. It was, I've only, out of maybe 10 people I've ever mentioned that to, 2 people gave me a high five. I remember. So thank God it's not no Mandela effect.
Not yet, anyways.
Yeah. And I love this page in the eyes and all. This is fire right here.
Yeah, so Karmic actually has 2 different color eyes, and that was one of the significance about her. So throughout the series, you'll be able to always distinguish who she is, because those are the only things that don't change about her, are her 2 colored eyes.
And she's always had them like that since like birth, before power?
Yes, she's that's part of her identity, is the 2 colored eyes. Yeah, because I at one point I wanted to do a Find Karmic series, right? So the only way that you'd be able to tell who Karmic is if you're really looking at the eyes, right? Like in a page spread type thing, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that poem. Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. No, go back. I'm sorry.
Oh,
go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, no, and that's a poem. I actually wrote that before I even thought of the idea of Karmic, believe it or not. So when I did think of the idea of Karmic, the poem just seemed to really fit. I tweaked it a little bit, but yeah, it was.
Where were you? What happened that day when you were sitting down and you wrote down these notes in the initial concept that you did?
So in my life, I've come across a lot of what we'll call them predators, like people, manipulators and bad faith actors, right? And I very much, like the Karmic character, have had the opportunity to bring justice to several different people. So for me, when the idea was actually thought of, I was actually seeing this one man, and he was lying a lot, and I caught him in the lies. And when I was talking to him on the phone, I said to him, I feel like I'm Karma. And then from there, it was like, oh, it's this character, Karmic. Okay, I'm going to start developing her.
There you go. Inspired by an asshole. There we go. I'll say.
Inspired by many assholes.
And look at this, just this page, gorgeous. And I love the art style chosen here. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the artist is quite so this one is actually in the coloring book itself. I took it out of the actual graphic novel, and I got him to redo the page. So you'll I don't know if you'll see you'll see her transforming into a crow, but not quite in that type of format. It's more of like a full page spread type thing. Yeah. So I got him because I wanted people to see her in action, actually transforming, as opposed to these different panels.
I see. Again, it's a gorgeous looking book. Heck yeah, man. Heck yes. Ooh, look at that. So is this who are these folks that we're looking at right here?
So these are, I call them the gods of old. So it's basically the different religious figures for the different religions that believe in karma. So
Okay.
yeah, specifically that believe in karma, right? So Buddhism believes in reincarnation, karma, and Western philosophy and whatnot believes in like cause and effect, because there's different, when it comes to different religions, they believe in different things what karma actually is.
Understood. That must have been a nice deep dive that you did, looking into these things.
Yeah. Really, really fascinating learning about the different, philosophies and whatnot for different countries and religions. Yeah, it's eye-opening actually.
And look at it. Yo, that's madness right here. Jeez.
Oh, so you'll see there where the crow is on
Over here.
yeah. So that the one that you showed before with her transferring into the crow, it is actually I got him to redraw it, and that's the outcome.
And I see what you mean about the eyes, yo. Dope. I love that close like that.
Yeah, no, he's a fantastic artist. Absolutely fantastic.
This is freaky as hell though over here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. But transforming is not supposed to be, it's a painful process.
And it's not pretty. Gotcha. Holy shit, that is freaky as heck. Oh my God.
Imagine what the TV show would look like.
It reminds me of the movie The Thing. When they the guy that with the head, and the dog. That movie freaked me the hell out as a kid. I'll tell you that much.
That movie, as a kid, it freaked me out too. But then later on, when I watched it, I was like, I don't know why I was so scared.
Yeah, it is. It was a good time. We were watching it, and these grainy TV. So I don't know. There was something about that when we see it older. At least for me, when I saw Evil Dead on DVD on like 1080p for the first time, I was so disappointed. I was like, take this off. This looks so fake. I can't watch it. I need to watch it on VHS. That grid, please. It ruined it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this, yo. Alex Moser, Constance Karras. Ooh, and so I like this. The dog and cat look great. Are those her pets, or also other animals she could transform into? Just about anything.
Those are other animals that she can transform into.
So she could be a little kitty cat.
Yeah,
I don't like that Doberman. I don't trust that Doberman for my life right now.
I believe. Oh wait, no, it's a German Shepherd I have in the book where she scares off somebody just barking as a dog.
I'm digging this. I'm digging what you're doing here for real. It's pretty fire. So what would you say maybe is the wildest creative idea you've had for the Karmic series so far that you've done, or one that maybe you've sadly had to cut?
Well, lots of things I have to cut because it's YA, right? I'm more as a writer, I more like to write horror and thriller and psychological thrillers. That's more my forte. So keeping it watered down, I guess per se, was a challenge for me because I mean, when it comes to karma, I mean, she can be the mass murderer type thing going and fulfilling karma and that sort of thing. But that's not really the message I want to give people, because I do know that people are very susceptible to ideas, right? So, and that's one of the things I'm really afraid of when it comes to my work. I mean, it is just imagination, but at the end of the day, what other people read and how they interpret that into their own lives, it could be an issue. So it could
be an influence as opposed to him just reading something. I absolutely understand. Yeah. And I could see a horror movie really come out of this, like you're saying. In my head, when you just said that, what popped into my head is, imagine she just stays in an animal place and sees people that adopt animals that, and to abuse them. So she basically turns into any animal and just to get into the house of those and kill them, like a Dexter for animals.
yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Murder motherfuckers. If you do it, just give me some credit. It was Almega, please.
Some credit.
I like your ideas. It's because that does sound pretty sick. You just blew my mind with that. I don't know, that just popped into my head. But I'm digging it. That's a beautiful looking book, honestly. So, moving on, like you worked, also, you say you've done the casting, for music, writing movies and all. If Karmic had a theme song, let's say, what kind of vibe would it have? Would it be a punk anthem, mystical ballad, or just straight up heavy metal madness?
So that song Karma Chameleon?
Oh yeah,
Karma's a chameleon. Yeah, that's the song that plays in my head when I think about Karma. It's perfect, right? Because she is a chameleon, right? Basically.
Oh, yeah. She already knew what she had this prepared. right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, so why graphic novels have some, sometimes deep messages hidden in the action? If Karmic had a fortune cookie message, what would it say?
Be mindful of your actions because
Hey,
they affect more than just you. It affects many other people, right? Be mindful of your intentions as well.
that definitely does sound like a fortune cookie.
Yeah, right? You don't, karma might come and get you.
So if you could invite 3 fictional characters to dinner to discuss Karmic, who's getting a seat at the table and why?
Fictional characters from other movies, you mean?
Anything you want.
Never really thought of that.
Would you have Jason at the table to try and give him back his karma?
What's that?
Would you have Jason at the table or Freddy to give them back their karma? There we go. Let's talk, guys.
Well, Stan Lee, I mean, he's not a fictional character, but I would definitely have him sit at the table. But in regards to fictional characters, yeah, who's that blue character in one of the Marvel ones? She's like a water character.
Water. Well, there's Avatar. That's Aspen, and she's watery. Then there's water blue character.
Yeah, she transforms.
Well, the Mystique girl from X-Men. She's the one that she also
So basically any character that could transform. It's like bring them all to the table.
Trade secrets, huh? How do you do this?
Exactly. How does it feel to be a fish?
yeah, because Mystique could go from gender to gender as well. She could change the whole physique like hardcore. She's
same with Karmic too.
Really? Ooh, that's some scary shit, boy.
So in the second book, I do plan on having her actually transform into a character that one of the other characters are familiar with, right? So
trying to mind F them in the YA way. I love that.
Yeah. It's got to be a little bit watered down, but
listen, one day, you're going to be able to let loose on this. You trust me on that. Now, I know that being a creator is like a roller coaster, right? So what's the biggest yes moment in making Karmic? And what was the, oh no, what did I just do moment, if any?
Biggest yes moment was the thought of her. The biggest no moment was going through the illustrators, finding something that, or finding someone that would bring a detailed illustration of the book, as opposed to, you see these other comic books and graphic novels, they seem to be lacking depth and detail in the artwork itself. And mostly because, it's expensive when you start, the more detail you have in it, the more money you have to pay for it. Right. So in regards to making money, that would be the best option. But I really wanted this to be, very detailed and almost 3D kind of character. Right. So that would be the oh no moment is finding the right illustrators.
Man, and how long was that process in finding those illustrators for your story? How long did you take?
So the first illustrator I hired, she actually worked for me for 2 years, and she did 15 pages. And then I found out that she was actually tracing other people's work.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that was a big no-no for me. It has to be completely all original. So I let her go or whatever, and then Alex contacted me, and then I ended up hiring him. And then there was 3 pages, the Karma and Dharma pages. I actually hired a local illustrator to do those last 3 pages. And there's always, even though Alex is a really great illustrator, and I don't really want to put anybody under the bus or anything, but those last 3 pages, I actually had him do them, and then he wanted to up the price on it. So I just said no. So I ended up hiring somebody else that was more Canadian, more local. And I'm also thinking about using him for the second book. Like technically, I want each book to be a different artist, but still have the same kind of type of art. Yeah.
Excellent. The journey is difficult. Absolutely. That's crazy. So 2 years, 15 pages only. and Trace. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That's
and I scrapped all those pages, so I lost a few $1,000s on
oh
that.
my gosh. The journey of a creator. Oh man, but good for you for keeping pushing on and not letting that, deter your vision to make this, come to fruition. I mean, that's actually, very dope of you. Big salute there. I mean, not giving up and keep going forward. Fuck them haters. Fuck them haters, yeah.
Well, no, she really, really loved the book. Like she wanted like she tried her hardest to keep the book. But thank God I have a really tight contract. So
Yeah, but again, and thankfully, again, you did what you had, and now it's here. Now, let's talk about this. 'Cause you were talking about it was going to be a screenplay, possibly. So, if Karmic did become a Netflix series, who's playing your main character, and who's the absolute worst casting choice? You could get weird with it if you want.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is that Karmic, because she is a shapeshifter, she would change characters quite often. So, but her main character. Sorry,
because I was about that. She doesn't keep a main form. Like,
well,
maybe
she does have the main form. I mean, when you see her outside of her fulfilling karma, she does have her main form as you see on the cover. So in my mind, Margot Robbie would be ideal.
Oh yes,
right. She just. I'm sorry.
I just because I have a crush. You know what I mean? She's a beautiful one, but she's also great. Yeah, she's a great actress, though. She could do any type of role. She's dope. I love that Harley.
I think she would definitely pull it off for sure. Absolutely. Maybe the worst character. I don't know what the worst one would be.
You don't want her transforming into Danny DeVito or something like that. Right?
Yeah, like not a comical character, right? She'd have to be somebody that could be very diverse in her acting skills. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to you do something. Now, let's settle this for a minute right here. If Karma was a superhero, what would their powers be, and would they wear a cape, or are capes just asking for trouble?
So in the book, I do have her at one point wearing a cape. It's kind of like, just a little type of cape, like not like a superhero kind of cape, just more of like a hidden, she's trying to hide type cape. I do have that at some point, and that was more of the illustrator, his idea. He implemented that, which I thought was a pretty good feel, because she was trying to hide, right? She was trying to, steer away from people finding her out, because she doesn't want to be known, because how this is supposed to be kind of like a fantasy character set in real life stories, right? So
she tries to keep a secret identity of who she is. You go with that trope. Oh, thank you. I mean, there was such a big discussion recently on social media, with writers asking, is the secret identity trope dead? I don't think it is. I think it matters. I think it's important to keep that.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, especially in like real life scenario. I mean, imagine this character was real, like she's actually a real character and she shapeshifts, and then a government or something gets a hold of that. What's going to happen? They're going to try to get her and put her through tests and whatnot, and figure out
her family first. Get through your family. So me, I think the worst. I'm like, listen, you're powerful. You know what? They're gonna fuck with your family first.
Yeah, exactly. And Karmic being Karmic, I mean, she could turn into a germ if she wanted to and infect her.
Oh man, dude, you're killing me. You're killing me. The possibilities here are like wild right now. You're murdering me. Woo, you're giving me so many ideas. But please,
and that's what I love about the characters. Like, she is quite a diverse character. I can pretty much do anything with her. It's just really up to my imagination.
Yeah, as powerful as a Firestorm, because my Firestorm from DC is like a nuclear power character, but he could just transmute about any type of matter. Period.
Well, she doesn't have that ability, but
no, but it's a power though. I mean, it's Empire. He could transmute shit, but she could just turn into anything, and that's also wild. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and as the series progresses on, I mean, nothing is off the table, right? I mean, she can still gain more powers or still learn something else about her, right? Like I do plan on having her, eventually get married, or not married, but find a partner and have her yin and her yang children, like just incorporating all these different things as it progresses on. I definitely do. That's going to take a lot of time, because
so how far along are you in the Karmic universe in your head? Or let's jump in now, the Gedanitz verse, baby.
The Gedanitz universe. So I have tons, and it's planned years and years in advance, right? For me in particular. Yeah, I mean, I've had 7 years to think about this, right? So I just keep planning and planning and planning. It's just more so about, you know, getting the funding and more just keep it going, because I am doing it independently. I'm not doing it traditional publishing, and I'm trying to keep the rights and everything else within myself, right? Yeah.
And there you go, folks. Look, that's the website right there. And the book is available now, correct?
Yes, yeah. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, my website, and lots of various other places. But I prefer them to go to the website and buy it, because I can sign the copy and give them a little goodies with it as well.
Yeah, go direct, folks. Go direct to the creator right there. Like she just said, your signed copy, bonus bookmark, and a sticker, $23.89. That's excluding tax, folks, depending on where you're at as well. You know what I mean? You could buy it with Google Pay, PayPal, whatever. Get it done. I mean, it's a beautiful book. It is gorgeous. You got to get it now. I'm telling you, look, Karmic graphic novels are a timely series mixed with fantasy and reality that focuses on Karmic as Karma incarnated, born to Earth as a shapeshifter to balance the scales of justice. Holy smokes. What? You hear that? That sounds so intense.
I love the way you say it.
Yeah, it just sounds dope. You know, Karmic is the first character to depict karma in physical form. So is that true, really?
Yep. This is the very first. So if anybody else tries to do it afterwards, they'll have a lawsuit.
Oh man, she's gonna come at you like she didn't. Let me fucking around right now, all right? With the Gedanitz verse, all right? It's the real thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I like that. I like it very much. But again, folks, you can visit the website. I have all the links in the show notes, but of course you can see them here below. You can go to the website, which is karmicseries.ca. No, not .com, not .net, .ca. She fancy getting the new domains right here, baby. You know, and on social media, you go to Instagram, Facebook, or Threads at Karmics. That's KARMICS page. All right, PAGE. You know, show the love, follow independent creators like Terry right here. You know what I mean? And you heard it, the independent game, hardcore, self-published, you know, get it done. Go direct to this website and buy this book right now. Have you been hearing what we've been discussing this? I'm trying to tell you. This character sounds dope. I'm actually really excited. I want to check out the book myself for sure. You know what I mean? So in this journey we've had, Terry, tell them folks out there, a piece of advice maybe, or just, you know, something they should be cautious of or understanding of in their journey of creation.
In the journey of creation, like an artist as opposed to like karma.
Yeah, hey, you know, doing your thing, exactly. You know, you want to talk karma. You know that is for me. Karma is thoughtful. Fuck around, find out.
I actually have that sign on my lawn.
High five. Yeah, we homies. Let me tell you.
It's been stolen twice, actually, but
they haven't found out yet, have they?
Yeah, not yet. No, didn't have my cameras up. But what would I give it? Is like just persevere. You know, if you have something that you are passionate about, just keep with it, keep going with it, because you know karma is like cause and effect, right? Like if you have a cause and you work really, really hard on it, eventually, you know, something will come to fruition, you know. And I just feel that when it comes to the creative process, it's just such a long process, and there's so many different things against you when it comes to it that, you know, just gaining a lot of support for it and just keep going through with it. Eventually it will all pay off. It may not pay off right at the beginning, but eventually it will pay off. It'll be good karma.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, you know, before we go, I know you mentioned you got swag, huh? Talk about it. Is that some of that swag from that your universe was popping here?
So I've also incorporated Karmic, the Karmic as an anti-bully initiative as well. So I do have an anti-bully line on the website, which I design all the clothing, and this one in particular just has, you know, all the bad things like anger, judgment, and alienate, and shaming, and all the things that you know would look at as bullying, right? So that's just this one in particular. So it's really nice. You can get it on the website.
Sorry? Yeah, and you also have a website. I mean, on YouTube, a page right there, Karma's Karma Shop, and you talk about all the stuff that unite against bullying. Yeah, for real. You know, I was the anti-bully when I was in school. Meaning when they see a kid, I wasn't the biggest kid, but because I was a quiet kid in school, and I always looked mean, people thought I was no good. They judge a book by its cover. So you know what? Fine. I was actually the smartest kid in school, but no worries. But they thought I was one of the scariest. So anytime I see smaller kids get picked on, I would, like my favorite story is this one. So I saw this kid getting picked on in the morning for breakfast. This bigger kid I knew, I mean, twice his size. Like, come on. So he's picking on him, like talking mad crap to him. So basically, all I did was sit next to the bully, and I just stood quiet, folding my hands, and I just looked at the little guy, like, "You okay?" And the little guy looks at me, he just shakes his head. I said, "Are you okay?" You could say yes or no. He goes, "Nah." And so the bully next to me looks at me. He goes, "What you gonna do?" Just like wrestling, I give this guy such a clothesline. He landed on his back, and then I just grabbed him and said, "You want me to treat you like you wanted to treat him?" He goes, "No." I said, "All right. So if you ever touch this kid again, or talk to him, I swear to God, I'm gonna murder you." I shouldn't be saying it, but I did that. Let me tell you, this kid never bothered him. I had this whole club of maybe like 15 nerdy kids from the time. Just they love me, always following me. It was cool, but I never liked abuse. You know what I mean? I don't like that shit. I can't take it even nowadays. I can't. I got to step in.
Well, and
it's dangerous.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like my son was being bullied by a boy. Like that, you have to kind of look to is like hurt people, and I think that phrase is more relevant today than ever. They hurt people. So when my son was getting bullied by this one boy, it was because my son had lunch. He had everything that he wanted, right? And I'd always be there, take him to school and whatnot. And the schools try to bring in like liaisons and try to get him to play games, and it kind of just made it worse, right? So then one day I decided to sit down, and I sat down beside this little boy, and I just had like a heart-to-heart talk with him, and I found out that he was I think 6 years old at the time, maybe 7 years old at the time, and he had a 5-year-old sister, and they were walking home to and from school by themselves, and this little boy was cooking dinner and everything else for this little girl, and when I walked the boy home one day, like there was windows missing and everything else, and the parents weren't around, right? So in essence, he was bullying my son because he was jealous. So I just said to him, I said, you can be a part of the family too. You don't need to go in and hurt Kaylin. So you guys can become friends. You can be like brothers, kind of thing. And then the bullying just stopped, right? So sometimes you have to kind of wonder like what's happening in the other people's lives. The reason why they're bullying.
Some empathy. Sometimes it's good. It's a little bit of love, some empathy. Try to get into their head and understand. Yeah, you're so right. Yeah, again, I was a kid back then. I'm not asking the bully why you're bothering this kid. I'm just gonna smack you. But now that I'm older, it's different.
So another story because I used to get bullied quite a bit as a kid because I was a foster kid, and for some reason people just automatically think you don't have a home, then nobody else should love you type thing. So and this girl would always constantly bully me all the time and call me names and whatnot. And my foster parents said, because I would always go home crying all the time. My foster parents said to me, says, "Terry, you are the strongest person," because I used to live in a trailer park, fancy trailer park as they like to call it, not like the Trailer Park Boys, nothing like that. But a little bit more of a fancier Canadian kind of, country type trailer park. And they said to me, like, you're the strongest girl in this whole trailer park. You don't have to put up with it. And that kind of gave me permission to stand up for myself. So when she rode by her bike one day and she started calling me names, and I was actually a runner when I was a teenager, and a really good one at that. So I got up and I ran after her on her bike, and I grabbed her by her hair and I pulled her off the bike.
Yes.
I did. Yeah, I did. And then I was really proud of myself. I was like, yeah, I did it. Yeah. And then when I walked past her trailer, the mom came out and she started threatening me with a broom. And of course, I go back home crying again. Yeah. I go back home crying again. And my foster parents, and for me, one of the things of being a foster kid was that I didn't really feel like I belonged anywhere, right? I didn't really feel like I had like the family that everybody else had. So when my foster parents got up and went to the house and confronted them about it, that's when I actually started feeling like I have a family, I belong, right? So it was a remarkable moment in my life. I don't know.
I'm gonna laugh about that. I laughed about the bike thing because I did the same thing to somebody that was trying to bully me. They were on their bike, trying to say some shit, and I just got mad and I ran and I pushed them so hard off the bike that they just smacked into a concrete wall. And next thing you know, but those are the days of BMX, so I had a helmet on. So they say, we're having a brawl, but he can't hit me in my face because I have a helmet. So luckily, I'm able to pound on him, but he can't hit me.
See, we were rebels in the trailer park. We didn't wear helmets.
Listen, I was in Brooklyn Concrete, and we had BMXs for the first time, and we were doing things that we shouldn't have been doing because we weren't pros. If our parents understood what we were trying to do, they probably would have murdered us themselves. You understand me?
Yeah, well, it's different times, right? Because I even look at like how my son's raised and whatnot. I mean, I was raised as a country girl, and it's different rules and different things. Like I go out and I play and build forts and stuff like that. And my son's, playing video games, and it's completely different lifestyle.
I hear you. Different generation. They don't know what they're missing living outside. I say that, Terry, we are truly the last generation that is that digital divide, that we played outside and then digital came into our life slowly and we assimilated. But we know how it is to live outside. After these kids, like my daughter, she don't know what it is to play handball, stoop ball, dodgeball, just chill. I don't understand. Go to the mall.
Yeah, meanwhile, I played every sport I possibly imagine. Nerf ball, yeah. I think they actually took that out of schools now. You're not allowed to have the one where you throw the balls at them.
You can't do dodgeball no more, really?
I don't think so, no, because it's like it hurts people.
Well, let me tell you though, there was this guy named George, this kid. He was like
my brother's name.
Yeah, bro, this guy was like a beast at 12 years old. He was man-sized. I think he must have gotten left over like 4 times or some shit. And he would play dodgeball. Let me tell you, when he'd gun for you, it's the hardest hit that you would ever. He hit me one time, and I thought I was brave enough. I said, you know what? I'm not scared of him. I'm gonna try it and catch it. Biggest mistake I ever made.
Especially
I was chubby back then. No, he hit me right in the stomach. The way I was left nowhere, it felt like Mike Tyson punched me in my gut.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
maybe you should have been a boxer.
That was wild. Let me tell you. But Terry, you have fun. I like having you on the show. But again, folks, I've been showing it off. Do I need to show you one more time and repeat? Yes, of course I do, because that's what we do here. Because we love our independent creators. We love our independent publishers, and especially people that are doing phenomenal work. So please support Terry and Karmic. KarmicSeries.ca. Again, all in the show notes. Just click away. I make it easy for y'all and spend that money, because returns are coming, so don't be giving me no shit that y'all broke. I don't believe that for a minute. Right? Money's coming and it's there. You got a couple of pages coming too. Don't be playing with me. Go ahead. Oh, what we got? You doing some good stuff with the money? Let's go.
Oh yeah, every dollar goes towards making the books, and if it make more than film, but everything goes towards the currency.
There we go. You see, we're gonna get a lot of things going on with Karmic, kiddos. All right, so make sure you show the love to Terry. Thank everybody for tuning in. I see you guys. You gotta stop being quiet, because I see you guys in the background. I see how many are watching. Yeah, I still know they're so shy. Please don't be shy, my Crusaders. Come on, Crusade.
Yeah, I'm more shy than you guys.
And she doing this, and I love it. This is why I want her to keep talking a little bit. Get out of this, make her comfy, man, because this is what we do here at Comic Crusaders, baby. All right, support Terri-Lyne right there, baby. Right, support the Comic Crusaders right there. You can follow me on X, Meta, Insta, wherever at The Real Almega. You can follow the websites, the Almega Podcast, ComicCrusaders.com, UndercoverCapes.com. You can follow the show and everything. All the links are in the show notes. Again, so subscribe, turn on notifications, show the love, because we keep talking to amazing creators like Terry all the time. And with that, again, much love, and I thank you guys. Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit ComicCrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at UndercoverCapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.